Welcome to Highly Questionable. This guy said the Broncos had no chance in the Super Bowl. This guy made Peyton Manning neck jokes all season. That guy said the Broncos couldn't win the Super Bowl with Peyton Manning. What are we going to talk about today, Bomani?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out why you didn't clear this intro with me. I got to say, you tell on yourself. That's fine. You got to snitch on everybody else.
Vamos, papi.
Does getting dragged to a second Super Bowl title really change Peyton Manning's legacy?
Legacy, dragged, kicking and screaming reluctantly to a second title. I think it does. Not for me, it doesn't. He's one of the best ever, but I think in the conversation among the majority, history ends up forgetting the details. Doesn't matter that Roethlisberger was bad in one of the Super Bowls. He won two. Doesn't matter that Tom Brady 1 year threw one postseason touchdown en route to the championship and got saved by the tuck rule. He gets that championship forever. Today, you might think it doesn't change anything. History will forget the details in the long run.
But we do have to admit that it's fascinating when we deal with legacy construction and ask these questions that this will be the second time that Peyton Manning has won a Super Bowl without actually playing that well in the Super Bowl. Ben Roethlisberger has 2 Super Bowl championships without actually playing that well in the Super Bowl. We normally don't look at it that closely when it comes down to this, but what was Peyton Manning's legacy already? One of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. What's his legacy now? One of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. How much was really changing with this one game?
Hey, Peyton, I have to apologize to you. I mean, I have been making fun of you and your neck for about 2 years now. I have to apologize because I really didn't know that you were doing that much HGH,
Wow.
I mean, you got me there. You got me there. You're a man that knows what he's doing.
That doesn't seem like much of an apology.
Allegedly. Allegedly. Even though he just won the Super Bowl, do you think the Broncos are hoping Peyton retires?
Hey, you can't forget, after last season, John Elway asked Peyton Manning to take a $4 million pay cut. The only way he'd get the money back is if they won the Super Bowl. They won the Super Bowl. He got the $4 million. And John Elway has to be hoping that that is a parting gift. Like, please take this $4 million check and go on about your business. Because, yeah, maybe that defense could drag Peyton Manning to a Super Bowl next year. That's not what you want to bet on, however. Small problem for Denver. They don't have a quarterback. Because if that guy was their quarterback in the Super Bowl, clearly they don't think they have a quarterback.
My father was saying during the game yesterday, during the second half, that they had to put in Brock Subwider, he wanted in the game, and that's where we were with Peyton Manning during the game yesterday. Keep in mind, though, Archie Manning said flatly after the game, it's not going to be in Denver next year. Denver doesn't want it. He's been quoted. Peyton Manning's father is saying it's going to have to be somewhere else. So this seems obvious. And what you had yesterday, fairly amazing when you think about it. Von Miller is to Peyton Manning what Ray Lewis was to Trent Dilfer.
Hey, Peyton, please. Take your time, don't rush into any decision, I mean, just wait at least for one more shipment before you make up your mind. One more shipment, then you can make up your mind.
Shipment is the word that is used. Shipment of HGH.
Shipment of Budweiser. He meant Budweiser because he's going to drink a lot of Budweiser.
Shipment.
Allegedly. Shipment.
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 No, you're not. Shipment.
Were the Broncos right that Cam Newton didn't try hard enough on the fumble?
Well, the victors get to say whatever they want, but do you really have a question about how much Cam Newton cares? Do you really question whether this guy who took an unholy beating yesterday doesn't want to take beatings on behalf of winning? Because this looked bad. I'll grant you that. It does look bad, but I don't want my quarterback's hands and arms in there, Bomani, even though it's season-saving. I think he's doing that from reflex. Over the course of the season, he doesn't put his hands and arms in there because you don't want those things to get hurt. Obviously, a big moment not to do it.
Well, the most interesting thing about the discussion is if he had done what everybody asked him to, it wouldn't have helped at all. You saw where the ball ultimately wound up. You saw Ryan Khalil coming head first toward him in the direction that he was going. and DeMarcus Ware already having the ball. Look, I don't know about the people who are wondering if Cam's left shoulder was hurt. I have no idea. That's not the thing to argue about in this game, though. That wasn't going to change anything. What that was, though, was opening the door just a little bit in case you wanted to use the day to finally come and kill Cam Newton after a 15-1 MVP season. He kicked the door all the way in a little bit later. We'll talk about that.
We're going to get to that in a second.
Does Cam Newton deserve the beating he's taking for walking out of his press conference?
Woo, buddy, this is when all the people who have been lurking, who you have not heard from in over 2 months, this is when they all jumped up. Cam did the post-game press conference.
Countless Steelers team and Ben Roethlisberger hopped up allegedly on bear tranquilizers.
Now, one thing that's very interesting is we're talking about the Broncos as potentially being one of the great defenses of all time. Played a better game yesterday. The Panthers, however, turned the ball over 4 times. Some of that was from the ferocity of the Denver defense. Some of that was Mike Tolbert fumbling for the first time in over 4 years. So, no, this is a great defense, and you have to say it's a great defense because they just won the Super Bowl when their offense only put up 194 total yards. But it's very interesting how we built the narrative around Wise when, yes, that proved that they were an all-time great defense when they were the second best defense in the Super Bowl.
You know, this is what I said to everybody. Defenses, they win Super Bowls. You know, that's what I said. The Broncos, they were going to win. That's why you got to listen to Papi. You know, Papi knows what he's saying. Papi said so. Defense was going to win that game. Wasn't going to be Peyton Manning. He was going to just drag along.
You didn't say any of that.
No,
no, you didn't say any of that.
Trust me, when you make accurate predictions, people tell us.
No, you were just moving around with your head stiffly, making fun of Peyton Manning all season.
Must be my age.
Yeah,
Could be losing something. Next question.
Next question. Okay.
It's a commercial.
Okay.
Coming up next on Highly Questionable. Come on, guys. You're missing the whole point. The real reason was that Eli lost a lot of money on that game.
Oh, wow.
He bet against the Broncos and his brother.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah,
Allegedly. It is Monday. Time for more football. Is Eli's face evidence of how he feels about Peyton Manning winning his second Super Bowl?
Sibling dynamics. You've always had Eli, the kid who looked like, I don't care that much, but then he wins 2 Super Bowls, juxtaposed against the overachieving middle child, Peyton Manning, who you know really, really doesn't like the little brother, has more Super Bowl rings than him. Well, not for long, and this is the moment it became clear that Peyton was getting his second ring. Everybody's happy.
Eli, Cooper,
except for Eli. Oh, man, like Eli looked like he wanted to go back like the Homer Simpson gif, like back into the bushes. He got some dap that he didn't even take very well. That one kid is doing some weird dance. I don't really understand what's going on there.
Stu Gotts, my co-host on the radio, was arguing all last week with his hot take breath. Eli Manning doesn't want Peyton Manning to win. He's rooting actively against his brother. I said it was ridiculous. I'm wrong. That is evidence right there that Eli Manning didn't have any interest whatsoever in his brother matching him in Super Bowl.
I mean, what's he need another Super Bowl ring for?
Come on, man. I had something over him. I had something.
I still got these 2 MVPs. Where's your other MVP?
Come on, guys, you're missing the whole point. The real reason was that Eli lost a lot of money on that game.
Oh, wow.
He bet against the Broncos and his brother.
I mean, maybe.
You have to admit,
Allegedly.
you got to admit, that is the look of a man who's not sure how this mortgage is about to get paid.
Why did the Knicks fire Derek Fisher?
This is a little bit of a surprise here because you thought that Phil Jackson would have a little bit more patience with his coach, perhaps. But you've got a situation here, keep in mind, where a year and a half ago, Steve Kerr and Derek Fisher were the same as candidates. In fact, Steve Kerr got 5 years, $25 million because Derek Fisher took the job in New York that Steve Kerr chose Golden State over. So you're in a situation here where all of a sudden Steve Kerr is winning every single game he plays. Derek Fisher fired, and you don't know if he's going to get another job. The answer to this question is Derek Fisher hasn't been very good.
Well, I'm about to say, why Derek Fisher got the job in the first place seemed to be, hey, he'd run the triangle before it. It seems that he's looking for a job. Like, I can't point to what the value added is of having Derek Fisher coach that team. So maybe this is the decision to make. It does feel a little bit hasty, but it's really got to stink for Derek Fisher if you're going to be compared to Steve Kerr, because Kerr was supposed to take that Knicks job. He was the guy they wanted. They wound up with Derek Fisher. Kerr got to coach Stephen Curry. Man, that's the greatest decision of all time.
Oops.
Do you know who was happy about this? Matt Barnes.
Oh, yeah, Matt Barnes was on Instagram. Look at what he put up here, Bomani. At the time of the firing.
Wow.
No caption, though. No caption at exactly the time of the firing because he's been suspended for going after Derek Fisher, for being at his ex-wife's house. He's been fined for threatening him and then just silently does that. Smug.
I mean, so if he wanted to go see Derek Fisher now, there's nothing really stopping him from doing that, is there?
Fight!
No, I want to see it.
No.
Whoa.
Yeah, sure. Why not? You know what I mean? That's what the man does, you know? Did Marshawn Lynch announce his retirement in the most cheap way in history?
I got to tell you, we do these things differently depending on how we feel about you. Alex Rodriguez using Fox to announce that he's becoming a free agent during Game 7 of the World Series. Problem. Marshawn Lynch saying he's going to retire in the middle of the Super Bowl. Oh, that was dope as hell because he did it like this.
Fourth quarter, no less.
Look at that. Got the cleats hanging over the power line. Just with the deuce.
Hanging him up, although it can't be the most G-way ever because Jim Brown, as MVP of the league, in a contract dispute, retired from the set of The Dirty Dozen. No one's topping that.
Are the Thunder the only team with an actual shot of beating the Warriors?
They do have a shot. The Spurs also have a shot. What I love about this game, though, Bomani, is Oklahoma City got all sorts of credit for going into Golden State and keeping it to an 8-point game. They kept getting credit, even though Golden State scored more than 70 points in the first half. Everybody was like, wow, you came within 8 points of Golden State. You have a chance. Congratulations. That's weird and a huge testament to where the Warriors are.
Yeah, but one thing we got to remember, we have not seen the best of the West play against each other that much. We've seen one game between the Warriors and the Spurs. This is the one game that we've seen between the Warriors and the Thunder. Hey, if this gets to a 7-game series, what that game did show us is something that the Thunder have. Two guys nobody can guard, right? So when you start getting everybody knowing your plays, it really matters that you have two guys that nobody can guard. The Warriors only have one. That's something worth considering.
Well, that looks good for the Heat then. They only lose by 10. No?
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, so the Heat are in the thick of things then. You know, Thunder's by 8, Heat by 10. Wow. Well, they lost only by 10 because everybody was talking, well, they only lost by 10. Wow, they lost the game. Yeah, but only by 10. What difference does it make? I've been walking up in my hotel suite. We've been going on the molly, holding on to Friday. Why you looking at me, shawty, recognizing I'm the only one that is bowling, only one who is going out of the country. Gotta keep a translator for the models, only one. I'm only repping fly stuff only. Keep some fly stuff on me, keep a fly chick on me. Highly questionable is broadcast from the Clevelander Hotel on beautiful South Beach, Miami. Time to play the game that has always wondered what Papa John smells like. Do you question?
Imagine he smells like Papa John's. Give us topics and events, and we question them.
Do you question if Thomas Davis should have played?
2 weeks ago, Thomas Davis broke his forearm. In the Super Bowl, Thomas Davis made 7 tackles with a forearm that looks like this.
Man,
Look at
come
this.
on, Dad, no!
Do you question Peyton's greeting for Papa John?
I was more offended by the way Peyton ended all of his night than I was by Cam Newton going all full sponsorship on us. He's got a Budweiser distributorship, so he said Budweiser in his post-game press conference, and then he did this with Papa John, who was searching and longing. Look at Papa John. He wants this. Yeah, Papa John wants a kiss, and there it is. Papa John just wanted in on his glory right there.
So badly, Papa John wanted to be a part of this. Papa John doing these commercials now and stuff like that. They took it all the way there, too.
Well, you know, maybe if I play my cards right, I'll get some free pizza. Maybe I should be nicer to Peyton Manning. You know, he's buddy with Papa John.
it's
You
a
know,
little
maybe I'll
late.
make a couple of phone calls, and all of this, we'll get free pizza, no? I love pizza. Congratulations, Peyton. What a wonderful job you have done.
I was with you
Make
all
sure
along.
you mention this to Papa John now, okay? Time to play the game that will seduce you with his smothering eyes. See? Or no?
Smoldering, not smothering. You tell us what to watch on TV tonight. We tell you if we're intrigued or not.
On ESPN, Louisville at Duke.
Sure, and here's some sound for you. Rick Pitino was indignant, loud, surprised by the self-imposed prostitution. It's not a prostitution ban. The self-imposed ban because of prostitution is what I meant to say. Although I imagine he'd probably be loud and agitated about a self-imposed prostitution ban as well. Let's hear that sound.
You know, my feeling is with the NCAA, I think it's wrong to penalize these kids. When you're not directly involved, it's my belief it should be automatic that you'll fine $10 million and that the coaches get fined 50% of their salaries, even though they didn't know about it. It doesn't matter. They should be fined 50% of their salaries because they were leading.
That hair is suspiciously dark, by the way. Bomani, are you intrigued?
Yeah, because that's exactly how Rick Pitino would sound if they did actually take 50% of his salary. He just Xeroxed that whole speech and put 50% of the salary as the ridiculous part, and at the end just say, can't we all just play basketball?
Boppy, are you intrigued?
Oh, see, I'm very intrigued. Listen, if I can go to Paris like that, I'll give 50% of my salary too. That's a good deal. Sounds like a good deal to me, you know. I mean, why not, you know?
Oh, that was an unpleasant sound he just made.
Those parties did sound live, though. Like,
Yeah.
especially if you were like 18, you know how live those parties would have been?
Less live if he were there.
What do you mean that's live? You can speak for yourself.
On ABC, The Bachelor.
Oh, knock it off. Knock it off with this. Like, stop, man. I'm serious. Stop. Go ahead, play, Cliff.
We're gonna be swimming with some pigs, feeding some pigs. I have hot dogs. When you're done feeding them, go like this, they'll go away from you.
My God, we're gonna feed the pigs. They're cannibals.
No, we got chicken.
Oh, my
Chicken
God.
hot dogs.
They're pretty aggressive, like especially the bigger ones.
I didn't know I was scared of pigs until today. Pigs were chasing me. Ben said if you did this, they'd stop. They didn't. I want a pig.
You're the keeper of the dog. Now we're all
Oh my God. This is like a bar in Dallas. There's just pigs everywhere. Lauren, take the wieners. Take the wieners.
Girls are just having a blast.
That's right near here, Bomani. Actually, the swimming pigs are like right near here. Bomani, are you intrigued? Yeah, I mean.
Why would I do that? And by do that, I mean, why are you out there with your chest hair shaved and growing back? Like, yeah, how are you not ashamed of yourself from that? Then you got
Yeah, I mean, yeah, shame. Bob, are you intrigued?
Oh, see, I'm very intrigued. But listen, between the bikinis and the pigs, it looks like every nightclub in Miami, you know? We're full of those things, you know? And the boats and the water and all that good stuff,
The
you know?
pigs in Miami have necklaces and cologne. He's right.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you for watching.
We'll talk to you tomorrow. We're going to miss football so much, man. Thank you for watching.
Gracias. See you next season.
I love you, Peyton. Send pizza.
Right.